Okay, hello everyone. Welcome again to that business application show presented by C Sharp Corner Community. So as you know that we run different two tracks, and in earlier sessions we have done some of the session for that Power Platform and some of the sessions for the Dynamics 365. So today we are going to introduce a third track where we will be inviting a guest with us who have a vast experience in that industry with the different domains, and we can discuss couple of the questions that is basically for every implementation that we do, right? So here we have just like let me introduce myself Mahender, and I have with me my friend Venkata. So we both are running this show, and our guest Mr. Arbind Tiwari is with us, and let me just ask him to introduce himself. So Arbind, why don't you introduce yourself so that let our community member know about yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Mahinder and Venkat, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to, be part of your event. I have, that I'll just start from the background of IT experience, which I am having almost 24 years of experience. And
Oh,
Microsoft Dynamics, is my bread and butter for past 16 years. So I started my career way back when 1.0 was launched, and the first project which I got was, for Microsoft itself in version 1.2, and that was a
oh,
migration
that's
project
great.
rather. So I can say that that I have grown up and I have grown old with growing Microsoft Dynamics application. I have
Hmm.
seen that where that Microsoft CRM was that kind of uh, 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 database oriented that extendable application where you just to create one drop down we were writing code of around 200 lines. So since those days, people who are joining this domain probably may have, that may not have that visualization that how it has grown from its nascent stage to the stage which is currently it is there for Dynamics. So this
Yeah, yeah,
is my
that's great.
journey into Dynamics environment. I currently am working with Tech Mahindra and handling delivery for their global Dynamics engagement. I do manage that a team of around 60 people, and virtually I have got opportunity to work in multiple domains. Kind of that you name the domain and I may have that experience, and I've executed a project. But majorly that I'll say that I have good hands on BFSI, banking and financial related. I think that more than 30-40% of project which I have executed was part of BFSI.
Mm-hmm.
uh, a
Yeah.
handful of in manufacturing as well. So I'll just come on and then segregate that further. That because when we say this manufacturing or we say this banking and finance, we say that telecom industry, these are that having subdivision as well. So for example, that if we say manufacturing, you will have that the FMCG where that you implement for customer like Nestle. I'm just giving you a dummy name. I'm not taking that the name, all the names which for which we have
No,
implemented
that's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
compliance from company perspective. But these
Yep.
kind of that the FMCG organizations, while like Hindustan Unilever, Nestle, then you have the capital goods or that consumer durable product like that LG or Bosch or something like that, and then you have building material or the construction industry which consumes that elevator escalator, like those kind of so every industry is having, even in manufacturing there are vast segregation, and you need to everywhere wherever you go, the processes of sales, the processes of marketing, processes of service provisioning, all are different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we need to understand that whenever we go and we start from, my prime job is to provide consulting, and we start
Mhm.
from the sales activity itself. So
Okay.
for us, it's very much important to understand the nitty-gritty of that particular, that industry domain, and then we
Okay.
go for, implementing or
Hmm.
providing solutions. Similarly,
Okay.
that if we say that we have implemented in telecom industry, we may know that telecom industry handles, that kind of phone service and, internet service and all. But when you go down the line, even in internet service, you will find that there are a lot many different, versatility of the marketing approach. They are having,
Yeah.
that internet based upon copper, internet based upon fiber, and then, that satellite based communication. So lot many things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
here you need to, understand that how the processes, sales processes work, how organization culture is, how the people of an organization do their day-to-day job. So these are very much important stuff, about implementing that.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
just say that this is,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
that's great
of
journey. That's great journey.
right.
Arvind. So let me ask you one question that mostly whenever I meet with any CRM guy, any who is working in dynamic CRM. So the first question I usually ask that how you came into this dynamics, and it's like I never got a person who directly started with the dynamics. Most of the people are coming from the different backgrounds, so from the .NET or from the view, I mean, not from directly they are starting their career in dynamics. Instead they are jumping from the other technology too. So what was your experience, how you came into this dynamics?
Okay, so I'll just answer. I am also not the exception in this, story. The similar
Hmm.
way, I had started my career as a, Java programmer.
Oh,
Uh,
so
I
it's a
learned long
non Microsoft technology, yeah, okay.
on Microsoft. It was in 1998, that I got my first assignment for a World Bank, a small engagement in a company
Hmm.
in our national capital in Delhi.
Hmm.
And uh, we started, that building our career from there. And then, as and when like we were getting deep dived into like DPSNL of the industry, if we found that that time that better opportunity is available in Microsoft domain. So
Hmm.
from Java to, like, that time it was Sun Microsystem. Now I think it's a part of Oracle. So Oracle, uh, uh, as a company, I think that owns that
Hmm.
Java. But that time it was Sun Microsystem, and from Sun Microsystem I moved to Microsoft, and started my career, as a course, that classic ASP and SQL developer, you know. So
Oh,
I
okay.
learned, I took some training, I did my own homework, and then I started my journey in, and that time it was, that it's a boom of e-commerce and, that web technologies. So
Hmm.
there was a lot many opportunities available. So I also moved into that, and subsequently, that I become a very good report generator on SQL. That time it was Crystal Report and all
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
Microsoft.
yeah.
So we started like, I was a, prominent, and I was managing to give the kind of report which management was looking for to handle their, sales activity and taking the appropriate decision.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in that line I got opportunity to, came into contact with, one engagement that was, I was naming that it was a Microsoft engagement itself, with one
Okay.
of our SI. That those days that was very renowned company. I will not take the name as of now. Or
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
you might be aware that Patni and Mastech were, that pioneer that time in ERP and CRM implementation.
Yep, yep,
Bigger
yep.
name than, TCS, Infosys, or, that I am not. I was frankly telling that those days I was not even aware of Accenture.
Hmm.
So, so I got opportunity with Mastech, and client was, Microsoft itself, and it was,
Okay.
I will say that I was fortunate. I got opportunity to work with close collaboration of Microsoft itself.
Correct.
So, like, we were handling Microsoft project, and that project was about, that Microsoft was also evolving that time. It was not a matured organization, and the
Yep.
first application which we were given to, build was for handling their sales activity of, that their servers, their rack, ports, their window program, SQL. So these were the product for which they were handling sales activity, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
that MSN was the engagement name. It was for MSN. You might be knowing that time that the unit of Microsoft which holds this Hotmail those days, right?
Right,
Yeah.
So
right.
those days Hotmail was belonging to MSN only.
So,
So those
yeah,
Okay.
was
thanks, Arvind.
the in
Thanks,
that.
Arvind. Let's go to. We'll be going to discuss more points in it in various questions. So, just we are
Right,
asking.
yeah.
Let us
So
go
I
into
just
another
would like
question.
to close this because that was, that company where I came into touch with the team which was working with Microsoft on Dynamics, and that was, that
Mhm.
association. That is why I'm saying that from SQL I moved to Microsoft Dynamics at
Mm.
that
Okay.
place.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
glad to know that. Okay. So as you have most experience in working with different domains, right, Arvind? So just a question from my side. So based on domain, what was your first thought whether to you go for the dynamic CRM or Power Platform in the current situation?
Okay, so this is that the question which cannot be answered directly. See, I'll say that Power Platform and Dynamic CRM, rather I'll take it in a different way. That Dynamic CRM is built upon currently on Power Platform itself. So we should not segregate this. There is no very hard or very that deep line which creates a division, because the structure and that platform foundation is on Power Platform itself. Now I'll say that where this technology going nowadays is, that is very much important, because Power Platform is one of the area where that we are getting a concept of low code no code extension, or low code no code application building. So it's not necessarily to be
Yeah.
that on top of Dynamics, but it could be
Yeah.
anywhere. You can build your own application based upon your own ecosystem. And
Yeah.
the key differentials which currently is coming, that certainly CRM is that system which is built around the concept that you need to work with customer. So
Mm-hmm.
customer, and that for every business, customer are the key element, because the business and revenue generation starts from there. So all the thought process, every activity of organizations revolve around this concept. So certainly, that CRM will be there. It may get a new flavor as it is. We might be noticing that that the dynamism which is coming in the industry in terms of that AI implementation and lot many different that large level languages
Yep.
applicability is coming. We are seeing a very vast and very fast change in the structure and the scope which we understand as of now about Microsoft Dynamics CRM.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a great explanation. So on so as a continuation to this particular same question, as you might have implemented number of projects, right, and you have also supervised a number of teams for the various domains. So can you explain us like which kind of methodologies that customers most are using? Because as you started your journey from CRM 1.0 and 2.0, there most of the people they have used this waterfall and all, but now uh, how the old customers are being uh, habituated to the new kind of methodologies. So can you throw some light on that?
Right, sure. So see, now as we know that yes, those concept of that waterfall model and all are old age concept now, because those days we were having patience, and even the customer were having patience of getting the things done, and they
Yeah.
were waiting for that application, or to be well placed to resolve the business problem which they were facing. And technology were also not that much mature at that time, so people were understanding and they were working along with. But nowadays it's not, that the power platform, the best, the concept is to give the the authority, or I'll say that the skills to the business user itself or themselves to do the work for them on application side. So the concept of low code no code came, that I think that I attended one of the workshop with Microsoft in 2010, when they were planning to launch the 2011 version, and the low code no code concept arrived at that time itself to empower the business user to do the configuration for which they were working. That the sales activity, how they were handling. And now that there is a rapid development concept, right? So the customers, they say that we want a application component, and they say that we want it now. So sometimes you face the situation that you are working on something and you will get a requirement, and customer will expect that to deliver in 2 hours.
Right.
Right. So those kind of that things are happening. Certainly, that from methodology perspective, and we work along with that for enterprise organization. So certainly 2 hours deployment is challenging stuff. But yes, now it is. I'll say that methodology perspective is a Scrum Agile. I'll term it, because you will not have that a defined form of requirement. You will get the requirement in one liner, two liner, or even the verbal communication, and you would have to analyze the requirement based upon your understanding of technology and understanding of domain, and then you will have to start working upon that. And so it is really now very challenging, and it's a kind of uh, I'll say that it is demand of a current business as well. The competition is so vast that every organization, they don't want to leave behind, right? So
Correct.
they expect
Correct.
that things has to be delivered as fast as possible, and they don't wait for that. So all those processes of documentation, creating design, solutioning, those concepts are went into background. Now first you have to build your application, and those other work will be done later on once you are handing over the application to business user.
Correct.
So
Correct.
processes in bottom is there, but certainly that concept of delivery has become, that very, very different than the older days.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No, what you're saying is absolutely right on here. So let me ask you another thing. Because I remember when I started with CRM, I started with 3.0 first time, and that was a time it was there was no duplicate detection in dynamic CRM, right? So it was like that. So keeping that thing in the mind, so nowadays, like when we do any implementation, so when you have worked on the implementation, right? So out of the 100%, how much percent do you think that this much we done using the out of the box customization, and this much part we did the custom development, and keeping the things since the starting, when most of the thing we have to do in the write our own code. But nowadays many things are there, but still I just want to hear from you.
Okay, so yes, customization versus out of the box is still, that the long back debate. Business, that and the instruction and the guideline and the best practices is suggested by every that technology expert are to use out of the box.
Hmm.
Business requirement which comes never get satisfied with the out of the box, but yes, we need to create a balance in the customization and the out of the box feature. Nowadays what is happening, I'll give you that one thing we are keeping in mind, that till until now we were having a mindset that we implement CRM, and we have to do some customization to meet such certain kind of requirement. But nowadays, that the way CRM platform is evolving along with that Power Platform and the other technology which is around this, is forcing you to conceptualize your business application around the feature which is available. For example, I'll say that that now you might be knowing that there is a roadmap of Microsoft of releasing different enhancement version
Yeah,
every
yeah,
half of the financial year they are releasing something. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what their effort is, to give you the insight of the feature that makes you satisfy. You just go ahead, you create the data list which you want to consume, and then you work along with the available feature which is available in the system. So now
Mhm,
it's a configuration based customization part is getting reduced day by day. your
mhm,
it is more becoming AI oriented. So you have to work along with that AI configuration and making the system learn how you are handling your business. So it depends upon, now it is becoming your data oriented. So the massive data training you are giving to your CRM system now on your behalf. Earlier, you remember that when we were writing, that in 2011 or 2013 version or even 4.0, for lead prioritization, we were writing code. We were calculating different parameter and we were writing code for prioritizing the lead. Now you have AI built system for prioritization. You just
yeah,
provide that, that teach that how AI will prioritize your lead, and lead would be prioritized. Yeah, lead scoring and all many things came, right? And that is still evolving. Now you are getting customer insight view, that even your marketing dashboard is getting a regular I'll say that AI analysis, where when you are working the predictive closure of your lead, that kind of decision will come upfront when you are working with a lead. So certainly, that Microsoft is working towards, the area where you may require, not may require to, uh, do much customization, as long as there is, the CRM extension or CRM customization is concerned, because many inbuilt feature will come. But yes, what you have to focus now is the user experience perspective, because you know that dynamic CRM, it is having its own structure, which
mhm.
many industries doesn't like that, or many industry that the structure or that framework which dynamic product provides is not suitable for that. I'll just, if you allow me to take a couple of minutes, then I'll
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you
yeah.
one good
Please go
example.
ahead.
Say for example, I'm going and implementing dynamic CRM in a telecom company, and
Mhm,
you imagine here, that what I'm trying to communicate is that as a dynamics implementer, you need to understand the business as well, how business happens. So when there is a telecom marketing happens for internet selling, or five, suppose there is a company selling internet facility. What happens that somebody visits some customer place, customer house, and they want to sell internet connectivity. Now couple of things happens there. They, first of all, they are in field. So when they are in field, there may be a challenge of that, even though if it's an internet based CRM access, but it's still authentication, and they will have to work on any of the device. And they sometimes they are carrying their defined laptop, or that mobile or some not. Sometimes they will have to work on open internet.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So in that kind of scenario, rather than utilizing the UI provided by Microsoft Dynamics, what people will like that they have a universal screen where they will just do the operation, and that the sales activity and background operation will happen in Dynamics. I'll just
Mhm,
give you one example. For that somebody comes to my place and I want 5G service to purchase.
mhm.
Now, how a sales executive knows that whether a 5G service is available at my doorstep or not? So what happens there in that application? They will just put my either that pin code or my address, and the kind of services their organization provides at my doorstep will be listed out. Right. So here what the underneath analytics is, first you need to go into all your provisioning system, retrieve appropriate data based upon the bare minimum information which you are capturing at that stage. Because when you are committing if you are not having visualization that what all services are available at my doorstep, and you are committing that okay, I'll sell you 5G, and 5G services nodes are not available, fiber cable are not there, then you are in problem. So
Yeah,
these
yeah,
kind of information should be available upfront, and for that you should have a very efficient UI which can communicate to your backend system. And till the time you are communicating with your backend system, there is no activity involved from CRM side, right? And then when you start capturing information, when you are booking your sale, at that time CRM interactions comes. So at that time couple of things will happen: either you will have to switch from the UI from where you were working, or you have to smoothly transit, or the same UI should be able to communicate with your dynamic CRM system as well. So
mm-hmm,
these
mm-hmm.
kind of that microservices based, that I'll say that many of the new latest technologies kind of UI builder like Node.js, AngularJS, people who are working, they are developing that very efficient system which is communicating with the backend system for provisioning. And then once their sales activity start, the same application starts communicating with your dynamic system. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
once you book your order at field, you on your screen you just book the order, and that creation of lead, opportunity code, blah blah, all these operation will happen in the background in the CRM.
mm-hmm,
Right. So
mm-hmm,
you are not
mm-hmm.
utilizing CRM UI, but you are doing these operation in the background. So that kind
Yeah,
of, that dynamic challenges are like, I'll not say the challenges, but these kind of, that demand from industries are coming. And then you have to rely on, that the other technologies as well to provide such kind of efficient,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
working culture, working environment for your
yeah, yeah,
employees.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So we use this, all the ecosystem and build the custom requirement, fulfill the custom requirement for the customer. Yeah.
Exactly.
So actually, let me ask you another question, which is, a little bit related to this only. So what do you think that, when we go to the customer and you start requiring, what type of wish list you have to build it, and then you need to, writing something custom
Pardon
for
me,
that.
Mahendra,
So
I
what
just
type of
lost a couple of.
requirement you mostly heard from the customer?
Sorry,
Yeah.
some couple
So
of
let,
word,
let me repeat
that
it.
got. Hmm.
Okay, so let me repeat it. So my question is like, when you go for any, customer meeting, so what type of the requirement you heard, from them, which is not part of the CRM? So, and you have listen, most of the many customers, ask for that kind of, wish list or features. So
Right.
you
So
have,
this situation always arise for us, that even that we are the things which we are currently executing, that in similar ground. Sometimes customers requirement comes like they, that making CRM as a data dump. I'll say that there are many there are not many older systems still prevailing like civil CRM and all. That people have made their legacy system, and they want that the first and foremost challenge is they don't want to give up the working culture which they were doing for last 20 years or more with their legacy system and the environment in which they were working. So
yeah, yeah,
the first challenge is that they want to maintain their that working culture along with the structure and the system which they build within that that duration of time, very long duration of time. And but that IT, and because of lot many constraint and the older technology getting obsolete, people there that the performance of the technologies are not good, enhancements are not coming, so people are forced to move into newer technologies as well. So the key challenge is that the many of the time the way they want this application to be rebuilt is that doesn't get aligned with the way dynamic CRM works. So that is what I was saying. So this example which just moment back I gave you for that making a sales into telecom industry was one of the good example for this problem only. Because what they want is the if you say that okay, we will provide you can provide your CRM UI for handling all those activities which they were doing at the customer place, But then you know that there is a lot of navigation. You will have to create a lead, then you will have to qualify lead, then you are converting that lead into opportunity. They don't want to do that. They just want, their employee just want, if they are working into field, they want that I do just give one click and then my sales request to be done. That's kind of management wants that I just go and click, give one click, generate report, and I should get the report the way I want to interpret that. So these kind of challenges comes, and there you will have to be very realistic. You will have to utilize your consulting skills as well as technical skills to overcome that lacking. One thing which we need to understand is that the purpose, the way CRM, dynamic CRM is that defined, and the any CRM, not only dynamic CRM, because I that have done a lot of migration project as well. So from process perspective, it almost all CRM remains the same. The extensibility and the the ease of working you can provide depends upon how you are seeing their requirement or how you are reframing their requirement. So certainly sometime you will have to take a strong business reengineering processes to redefine their requirements. Because it will not be there that suppose there is a that I'll just take one example. Let me see that found right one. Suppose there is a scenario where that financial approval for one order requires to be directed to 5 6 people, right? and
Yeah.
and then that what you can do, that you can create different tasks and you can assign and kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those kind of stuff, and then your management is expecting that at one click you should have all those that approval, all those pending things to be available in one screen, right?
Yeah.
So the way you have to configure is that when we are distributing, sometime your approval will be sequential, sometime your approval will be in parallel. So those kind of stuff you will have to, wherever you are finding dependency, you will have to eliminate those kind of dependency, and you will have to bring at one stage, right? That okay, go ahead and click. If these are the things, if these informations or these data are available, your approvals are done, and your sales is matured, your revenue generation is
Yeah. Yeah.
calculated. So those
Yeah.
kind of stuff you need to handle, certainly. But yes, it's not always that easy, because that it's a change management is one of the very big
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
challenging
Yeah.
way in this
Yep.
industry.
Yep.
Okay, so let me go to the next area. So, yeah, with the inclusion of, there was a buzz around right now with the latest things that are happening, like the AI capabilities, like the Chat GPT and Copilot. So, the next couple of years, from domain perspective, what are your expectations uh, from business applications area? So just I
Right.
have to add
So
a couple of questions into a single question, so that in the earlier question we
right,
had
something
heard about the
that it's a right. See, this technical evolution, which I'll say that industry is moving towards utilizing more and more automation and more that intelligence. And somewhere you will have to apply robotics, somewhere you are applying that artificial intelligence kind of stuff. And these things are that because this is becoming an industry demand right now, right? The way we are saying, we are seeing the CRM is evolving now is chat GPT, as you named, is one of the large level language module, which is kind of working based upon your voice or your text messages. So
Yeah.
these kind of interpretation and all these, you just notice that how these things work is, it depends upon massive data which you are consuming in your system to make your system learn and take appropriate decision.
Yeah.
So the transition which is happening and the transformation of industry where it is going now is more towards automatic decision making, or it you need to assist something which can, that like I'll say that you want one assistance which gives you support in your decision making activity. So these are the places where, that Chat GPT or Copilot is basically, that is meant for this conceptualization. That when you are generating a MIS report from Dynamics, your Copilot will find, that which, like suppose you are trying to increase yourself and you want to work more focused on some sort of leads. So how will you come across that which lead has a 100% or 99.9% probability of closing very soon? And there your Copilot and these kind of things will support you. So it is, that continuous analytics is one process where when you are working, there is a real-time analytics concept is coming. When you are working on a lead is, that the real-time analytics will do the analytics of the data which you have captured, and based upon your previous experience in, maturing your sales and closing your sales, it will prompt you that what you should communicate to your customer and how do you need to close these sales immediately. So that kind of focused approach, that even to establish customer communication, along with empowering you to make a right decision very efficiently and quickly, these kind of evolutions are coming. So these are the technologies certainly, that will replace whole kind of that conceptual and analyticals which we were doing by capturing different data and running our own logic for.
Yeah.
They are, that these kind of modules itself will be sufficient to like analyze the data which you are providing. The more data you will provide, the more efficient and more that I'll say that very appropriate decision you will get from these applications. So these,
Yeah.
and I'll say that that lot many things, I think that in next release of wave 2 of this year, probably they are going to give you marketing, that real time analysis. And I think, if I'm not wrong, probably early next or wave 1 next financial year, probably your the Copilot is coming into market. So these kind
Yeah.
of enhancement and the continuous improvement is happening, which is changing that entire panorama of
Yeah.
dynamics, which it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. So, that another thing that comes into my mind is, like, we know that now this ecosystem is also, going and making, they are making it bigger and bigger. We have lots of other technology that is, becoming part of the family. So then what about that license? Just I want to hear from you that how you convince your customers, okay, if you want to utilize this feature, you need this license. We know that, at some point of time, license is that, where customer, why I need to give this much amount, right? So what is your thought on that? How you convince your customers, paying for that licenses based on the requirement?
Right, yeah. So this is very good question, in fact, and a very realistic one, where that we face in every second, engagement.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, sorry for disturbance. So this we get, that what happens here is, just give me 1 minute, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's I think what Arvind was sharing, that this we have now lots of thing, and main our concentration is on the data. So we are utilizing the AI capabilities, and then more and more AI capabilities are added into Dynamics, and then based on that we are enhancing that capabilities of CRM platform, right? As like we call like power platform, right? So
Right,
that's
sorry
a thing I
for
think.
the obstruction. Yeah, so
So
I was saying that
yeah.
that the way now it is progressing, you might have been knowing that there is a that in next uh, wave, I think in September probably, module called Viva Shells, right? That is coming.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what Viva Shell is, that it's a kind of integrated combination of your data and the AI. So you will start your sales process, but logically, that your sales process will be you will be guided to handle your sales process now. Earlier, you were conducting your sales process, you were doing that running, creating, capturing data, creating lead, converting that, seeing that how much possibility of closing that lead would be. Now, Viva Sales, you just start your sales process, and Viva Sales itself will guide you to how you can progress and how you should handle this sales activity, and it will take you towards closure. As we were saying about that involvement of AI and all on your data. So yes, now it is becoming very much data centric, and the automatic analysis along with your AI.
Yeah, so I think we are running out of time here. So just like let's I think let's conclude it with the last question that I have. That what is your message to that newcomers who are coming into Dynamics or passing the college and wanted to start their career in the IT, and what is your message to them?
Right. So one of the, I think that this is very much good question, which can help to many newcomers to shape their career. So what we were like, the perception about Microsoft Dynamics CRM professional was that we need to start working configuring Dynamics CRM. We should have ability to write plugin, or we should have ability to write JavaScript kind of stuff for extension and customization. Now the industry and Dynamics platform both are evolving in a direction where these aspects would be minimized going further. So customization will be less, that maybe you will require configuration based upon your data item, and it's a standard. Like now, as your Azure technologies and all these concept of a standard data verse and all came across industry, not only with one of the technology, I'll say that vendor, but it's across technology. You will require to make your data structure unanimous or universal. So today, when you are working on Microsoft technologies and you are building your CRM, that on Dataverse, tomorrow maybe probably your application on financial application or Oracle node, NetSuite should be able to communicate the Dataverse and understand the that what data it is communicating with on Dataverse. So those kind of standardizers are happening across the globe, across the technologies. That's the first thing we need to keep in mind. Second thing is that as we said that customization scopes are getting reduced, and each of the working is becoming more prominent. Customers are looking a single click sales activity done, or their operations to be completed. So more than that understanding of CRM and working upon CRM along with CRM extension, they should have hands upon that the kind of technologies or UI related technologies, or kind of that microservices development processes, Kubernetes, how it works, that how do you establish communication with use of backend communication. So there is that kind of a concept called a NoSQL working culture, like the JSON object which you create. More people are taking the data and storing that on fly in MongoDB or something like that, and they are not consuming more of the databases spaces, and all it is also saving their cost also. So
Yeah.
these are the key area we need to focus along with understanding of dynamic CRM. So I see in that my maximum implementation, we are half of the resources which we are applying are required from full stack that developers from like they need to create a JSON object using Node.js, or they need to build UI using Angular and all those kind of stuff. And it's a kind of that many of the features are getting built based upon drag and drop way, even for sales activities also. It's not only for configuration. Like as we, that we do configure our form, we create a column, and then we place the column by dragging that on CRM form. This thing is coming in business scenario, and you can build that using your, that Angular and all those stuff. And these are in demand right now. So
Yeah.
like API extension which we do on Dynamic CRM, and every communication happen through API. So nowadays, these are the key area. Along with understanding the dynamic structure, we also should understand, that how we can establish communication between, multiple system. And more precisely, I'll say that the easy UI, from where, that the business can do their day-to-day activity. So these are
Okay.
the
Yeah.
key area where, people need to focus.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a great explanation, and thank you very much for sharing your experience with our viewer. And Venkata, do you have any other question? I think
No, no. By
yeah. I
looking
think
at this
then
particular discussion, right? So Arvind will have more queries from his
yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah. I know, like it's like when having such a great person who have a so much vast experience, but due to the time constraint we have to end this session here. And thank you very much, Arvind, for sharing your thoughts and your experience with our viewers. And thank you very much for joining us, our other audience as well. And our session will be available on the YouTube in the C Sharp Corner channel, so you can watch there, and you can also watch our earlier sessions as well. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks all. Thanks Venkat. Thanks Mahender.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks.